So I finally got my watch back from Tudor stroke Rolex, as the paperwork is all Rolex, but some of the stuff is Tudor related. You get your typical kind of watch pouch that comes back, which is quite nice. I've had a few of these now with sending things back. And you get your Rolex case that it comes in, which is all good. So the background to this, I guess, is that initially I actually damaged the watch up here. I dropped the watch when I was cleaning it and put a dink in the bezel, a fairly hefty dink. And I think you can still see some of the, yeah, you go, scratching on top of the lug. And it also damaged the bezel insert. And I was willing to live with that. These things happen. The bezel was also a little bit gritty. Oh man, when I first got the watch. Not like my original Black Bay 58, which was like this bezel is now. It's so smooth and so nice to use. So I was prepared to live with those things and think that the bezel might kind of loosen up. But then the R on Tudor, I noticed, as you'll see from the thumbnail for this video, some ink was running on it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, if that's there, I'll just send the watch off and get it all resolved at the same time. So last November, I sent the watch off via Fraser Harts, who are my local AD, and I only got the watch back yesterday, which I think was, what, the 15th of April. So, for obvious reasons, that's why the watch was ready, the shop was closed. So that was pretty frustrating. So on getting the watch back, obviously the bezel is now perfect. I've looked at it very closely. The bezel is not misaligned. Everything is how I would have expected it to be originally. And as I say, the bezel action now, I mean, everyone knows this, but it's just such a nice bezel action. Absolutely love it. And I'm really pleased to have the watch back. Some things that annoy me, and I think maybe I expect too much sometimes, but I don't even know if it's going to come out. But where the bracelet articulates up here, I did check all the damage before I sent the watch off, and you can't actually see it, which kind of, oh, there you go. So you can see those marks here, here, and on the bracelet. And then also, you can see them, that one on the bracelet there, and you can see on the top of the lug there and there. That wasn't there when I sent the watch away. So where they've been handling it and just moving things around, they've damaged it a bit. That will happen through normal wear, but I did get the same damage back, or damage, wear, whatever people want to call it, from my GMT when I sent that away and got that back as well. What you probably aren't going to see is, no, you can see it, that lug right there. You can see there's just a bit of damage on the back of that lug, which also wasn't there when I sent it away. And I don't think you are going to see here, but there's a strap changing mark as well, just on, oh, there you go, there you go, there's the damage that I was talking about that wasn't there previously. And you won't see, but there is a very small strap changing mark. Well, I can't even pick it up, so that kind of says it all, but it is there on the underside of one of the other lugs. So I've always said I don't mind my watches being marked if I'm the person marking them. It's a little bit frustrating. It's just a lack of attention to detail, I think, from whoever was looking after this watch, whoever looked after my previous watch. I just think it should come back in a condition that you send it away in, and if it's got additional marks, they should rectify those before it comes back to the customer. I could have kicked up a fuss, but this is a keeper for me, and I've said that before. And I just can't be bothered. I'm just glad to have it back. But it does frustrate me. I don't think they're the kind of things that should be happening, and I don't think they're the kind of things that should be leaving the workshop like that. It should be inspected, and it should be the condition it was sent in. So that's a little bit annoying. What else is there to talk about? Oh, so here's the paperwork and the cost, obviously. So there's nothing sensitive on here. But you can see that they didn't mention anything about the bezel. I'm sorry, the dial. They just literally put the charge for fixing the bezel and the bezel insert, which was £308, kind of what I expected. Obviously I was quoted before it went away, but there's nothing on that paperwork to suggest that the dial was rectified or there was anything wrong with the dial. But again, I didn't expect that. You just don't get that information out of them, and that doesn't really bother me that much. It just is what it is. I'm really pleased to have it back. It does just remind me of why I like it so much, and I've seen the new releases and they're not for me at all. I don't mind the taupe one, but I just like bracelets, and I've had the NATOs before, and if they're easy to take off and clean, that's fine. But with the Tudor ones, they actually go into the back of the watch here, so they don't slip through the spring bars. They actually are built into the spring bars, so you have to take off the spring bars every time you do it, and then you damage the watch. And I've been there and done that as well, so having this back, it just reminds me why I like it so much. It's such a nice size. I've got an exactly 7-inch wrist, slightly oval shaped, and being used to wearing my GMT at the moment, I do have my 38mm Zelos Horizons and my Omega, which is a little bit smaller as well. But this and my Omega are such nice fitting watches, and yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant to have it back on the wrist. And as I say, this is not something I'm going to be selling anytime. Really, it's the watch I was waiting for. As I mentioned before, I really wanted the Smurf from Rolex. I couldn't afford that. So this really is one of my keepers for a very long time. In other news, my Omega has been sent off for a service. I sent that off yesterday. I did do a previous video on that about all the damage that had on it. Some of which was myself practicing brushing bracelets and using Cape Cod cloths and stuff. Things I try not to do anymore, to be honest with you. It was fun at the time, but it was stupid to do it on that watch. It's almost 8 years old now. It's never been serviced. It was running perfectly. I think it was 1.5 seconds slow a day, or a bit less than that, but there or thereabouts. But it was 8 years of wear, scratches. I had a big old dink in the bezel, gouge almost. So I'll obviously update when that comes back in terms of what condition it's now in. But very much looking forward to getting that back. And then I'll probably do a bit of a state of the collection, because I think I'm done for the moment, to be honest with you. I did think that if they brought out a new 58 GMT, that I would have got that. Even if it was Coke, Pepsi, Batman, whatever, I definitely would have bought that. But none of the new releases really do it for me. I did manage to get to Fraser Hart and try on the black dial chrono, and it's a nice watch, but my GMT is already the biggest watch in my collection, and it's as big as I'd ever want to go. I don't really want to add bigger or similar size watches, and the new chrono is an identical size. It's almost the same size. So that's not really for me. Nice aesthetic, but for the moment my wallet is shut from a watch point of view. And yeah, I'll do a bit of an update on my Omega when I get it back, and maybe a bit of a state of the collection when I've got it back as well. As always, if you've got any questions, let me know. And yeah, thank you very much.